Okay, right, so we are more or less done, ladies and gentlemen, okay? But before we go and start thinking about this evening trip, I'd like to invite a gentleman who I had previously spoken to, but only met in person at this event, okay? And being a Frenchman, I was unsurprised that he had all the charm and grace of one's Gallic individual. So if we could invite Stephane, please, to come on, just to tell us, literally, lessons learned, 5 minutes. He's had 30 years in financial markets. Like us all, we've learned from our mistakes. We've worked at doing the right thing. And what I quite liked about this slot was it's more about leadership, because we're more senior people at an event like this than juniors, but also lessons learned that we can pass on to more junior members. Leadership and team building. Stephane, I would love to give you an hour on this, but I'm going to give you all of 5 minutes. So thank you very much, my friend.
We'll try to make it happen. So thank you everyone who stay to the end of the 2 days. We try to do something a bit different that we ever did in ACI World Congress, to give you some insight from leadership learning. So I've been in the market for 30 years, and I want to share some of the learnings that I have done, or learnings that I have learned from others during my career. I had a special career because I work in different countries in the world, for different banks in the world. So I will open up a little bit about my personal experience, but also lessons learned that can be applied to everyone. And I hope by the end you will either like it or hate it, but you will give me feedback. So that's how I will learn about it. I started as a young computer engineering degree, and my first job was in the US. I arrived in New York in the 90s. And so this is the first point. It was the American experience. My English was pretty bad at the time. It got a bit better, except the accent is still there. But that was the first challenge for me, moving to a new country. I didn't know anyone in New York. I was working for a large company. In fact, I worked for one of the largest investment banks in the world, JP Morgan, for 10 years. And it was a massive 150,000 employees. How do you survive in that? So what they did when I arrived, they gave me coaching to say, listen, you're a nice young French guy. You are way too soft to be able to survive in New York. How can you be more assertive? How can you be more punchy when you want to prove a point, when you want to go to a meeting and be able to deliver a message? So that's what I learned from that. So the first lesson from the first 10 years of my life working for a large American bank was you have to be curious. You have to be bold. You have to challenge yourself. You have to move outside of your comfort zone. And this is what I did. But doing that, you never stop growing. You are going to learn, continuous education. You are going to grab opportunities because you are going to be bold. So you are going to be able to grab those nice jobs that you want to be able to progress. So that's what I did in the first part of my life. The second part, then I moved to a French bank. So this is what I call the French experience. Same thing, around 10 years working for a French bank between Paris and London. I was working on building the e-commerce strategy. How do we electronify the bank around electronic trading, around electronic distribution, product development in the front office market division? When I arrived there, after 6 months, my boss came to me and said, you are way too aggressive to be able to work in a French bank. So we are going to give you some coaching how to soft and work the way we work in France. So what I learned in the US was probably hard to adapt to the change of culture in a French environment. So I had to learn how to work with people, how to work with a team, how to convince the people even if I am not their direct manager. And to be able to do that, you have to be able to know what you want, to know how you are going to adapt to those situations, or to know what your place into the organization is going to make you a better leader into that place. What I didn't realize compared to the US is the importance of internal politics. How do you navigate the politics of a large organization? And so I came up with trying to learn my own purpose. And I think this is probably the second lesson that I learned in my career. What is your own purpose? From a professional but also personal life. And I did a training on that, and it made me cry when we did that training. It was 2-day training, and most of the people were crying. It was not, because you go back to your own roots to try to develop. So I will share my purpose to you. It's nothing said. My purpose is to create extraordinary things for others to enjoy. Like a conductor of an orchestra. You see the orchestra, you listen to the music, but you don't see the conductor. So that's my purpose in life. But now that I knew that, I could move to the third chapter of my life. So the third chapter of my life is what I call the Dutch experience. Work now for a large Dutch bank, present in many countries in Europe, working on strategy, digital strategy, innovation strategy, working with key leaders of the banks. But I also learned on that I had to learn with regulator, because a lot of regulation are changing the way we work in bank. Work with central banks, work with policymakers. And to be able to do that, I realized I have to expand my network. You know, I started as an IT engineer. Now I'm working with central bankers or policymakers. How do I adapt to that model? So this will be the third lesson learned. You have to create your own network. You have to find people who give you energy, because they are going to help you on the way. Your mentors, your friends, your family. Who are the people that you want to spend more time with? You have to move from what we call EQ instead of IQ, trying to relate to people a lot more. And I was not great at that, but I think I progressed over the years. I hope so. So that's my third recommendation and my third tip. Create your own network, because at the end, it's going to be what's going to matter to find your next job. So then we move to number 4, which will be your bonus tip, because you stay so long. The bonus tip is, what's next? What's going to be your next experience? And this is relevant to all of us. What should be the next chapter in your life? And the tip for that is, if you had to write a book about your life, what you will write, and how you will leave a legacy behind you. By doing that, reflecting on that, you are going to put priorities of things that are more important. Life is a journey, right? And every part of my career, those 3 big blocks, help me to define my legacy. I'm not done yet. I probably have a 4th chapter to write in my book. But I hope I gave you 4 tips today that will help you in your own career and will help you for work, but also for your personal lives. In conclusion, I hope you learned a lot in the last 2 days at the conference. This is not finished, right? We are going to have a nice party tonight, so I hope you join us for the party. And thank you very much for ACI Jordan for such a fantastic organization. Thank you.
Stephane, thank you so much. Thank you.